Welcome back to the Lone Ranger Radio Show. Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. Yes, I'm the Lone Ranger. Thank you for tuning in. Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando, Kissimmee, Claremont, Mineola, let's see, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, DeLand, Deltona, uh, Broward County, Cocoa Beach, Melbourne, you name it, I'm in it. Let's help you. You want a mortgage, you want great financing, you want a lender you can count on. I'm a national lender. I'm in all 50 states. I'm not a mortgage broker. No, 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 no. I'm not a middleman. I'm no middleman. I'm a direct lender, all 50 states. Number one retail lender in the United States right now. Number one retail lender. One in 44 mortgages in the United States right now that are originated are CrossCountry Mortgage. Come on. You're dealing with the best. You got me right here in your backyard, and I'm one of the highest producers of mortgages in the entire country. I don't say that to brag. I'm nothing special. I'm a 10th grade dropout. I'm nothing special. But here's what I am. I care enough about my clients to make sure they always get the best mortgage for them. Always get the best mortgage. And I'm telling you, I save clients time and money all the time. I got two transactions just this week that referred to me that were the ball was dropped by another lender. One of them, the loan was never a loan to begin with. How this lender ever pre-approved them and said they qualify, this client wouldn't have qualified. Now I'm going to get them fixed up so they do qualify. Another one, the deal fell apart. The other lender, this is a builder, nice builder, builds beautiful homes, could not, their lender, their preferred lender, Amorous Bank, could not do the loan. They said they couldn't do it. Guess what the loan arranger did? He did it. That's right. He did it. The loan arranger's team put that deal together and saved this poor retired veteran losing his home. That's what the loan arranger does right there. Listen, I I don't want failure for you. I don't want headaches and frustration for you. I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I'm 60, almost 65 years old. I need to reduce stress, and I bet you do too. And even if you're younger, you don't need all the extra stress. Don't you want to just go to a company that knows what they're doing? I'll guarantee you your bank does not have a quarter of the skills as a loan officer in your bank, a quarter of the skills as my newest assistant does. I'll bet you they don't. And I put my bet up against most loan officers out there that my assistants that are licensed on my team know more about structuring mortgages than 90% of the loan officers out there. And I know it because you go ahead and you get convinced to get pre-approved because your realtor sent you the one, and then they dropped the ball, overpriced you, overquoted you, underquoted you, and then promised you and wrote you a pre-approval letter, and then realized before they didn't even have enough information to generate a pre-approval. That doesn't happen on my watch. You don't get a pre-approval or a fast track approval until you are fully approved. That's when you get it, because that protects you. Because this client that I just got thrown on my lap that fell apart from another builder, one of them lost $5,000 in escrow because they couldn't perform. $5,000. That wouldn't happen on my watch. It's not going to happen. I'd let you know early that you didn't qualify. Don't waste your money. Let's fix the problem and then go on. But I see these lenders, it's actually, in my opinion, it's malpractice. It's horrible. And these brokers are quoting people rates that they don't have any control of. So listen, you got three categories of residential lending. You got a bank. We all know what a bank is. Banks and credit unions fit into one category. Then you've got a direct lender. That would be me. That would be a direct lender. I don't have any middleman. We lend our own money. We keep our own mortgages. Then you have a mortgage broker. Mortgage brokers are going to banks and lenders to do the loan. Now, they tell you that they have an advantage because they can shop multiple banks to get you the best rate. That's the biggest hogwash that you'll ever hear. They're shopping you so they can get the biggest commission. That's what they're doing, not the best program for you. So it's bumpkiss. A mortgage broker cannot even send disclosures out. They can't lock your loan. They can't order the appraisal. They can't do anything other than send you to somebody like me. Why not just come right to me? Isn't it going to save you time and money? I think it will. 407-706-3313 in Orlando or 813-213-4009. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger on the Bone, and WDBO. Again, that's 813-213-4009 or WeBringYouHome.com. Hey, let's talk about this whole issue with the whole lawsuits that came down that are making considerable adjustments to the compensation that is disclosed on a real estate transaction. So I'll digress. So up until now, the listing agent negotiates the total commission with the seller, and the seller pays both realtors. Okay? That typically was about a 6% commission. And then that listing agent that secured the listing would then decide what split they wanted to give to the agent that actually had the buyer. So they would then, let's just say they split it 50-50. Some did, some didn't. So then the listing agent would get 3% and the buyer's agent would get 3%. But it was funded by the seller's proceeds. Well, there were lawsuits that came down and said, well, why is it the seller's responsibility to pay that? That's not right. Why doesn't the buyer pay their own brokerage fee? Well, when you say it like that, it sounds like a reasonable idea. Let's look at that. So now, at the end of the day, didn't the seller just adjust their price to compensate for the commission? I think they did. I know I did when I've sold properties. I have to factor in my loan payoff, how much my prorated taxes may be that I own, and how much commission I pay. So think about this. At the end of the day, did the seller really pay all the commission? Well, the fact of the matter is the buyer had to agree to the seller's price. And if the seller had increased their price to compensate for whatever commission they're paid, then effectively, wasn't it really split by the buyer and the seller, since the buyer is the only one bringing money to the table? I think it was. But this new lawsuit says that you can no longer advertise what the commission is on the transaction to the buyer. It cannot even be mentioned. But the listing agent supposedly is going to have to disclose what their commission is. Now, you could say as a seller, oh, that's a great idea. So instead of it costing me 6%, it's only going to cost me 3 or 2.5%. Yes, you're right. The problem is you just won't have anybody buying your home. Why not? Because the buyers don't have the money to come up with the commission, where ultimately you have financed it into it because you added as a seller into your sales price. So if 80% of the people are putting less than 20% down, then anybody that's putting 3%, no money down, veterans, oh, you screwed the veterans. Totally screwed our military. Absolutely shoved it to them. Now, I don't even know how that's going to work, because VA does not allow a veteran to pay commissions. It's not permissible under VA contracts. Now, you got a good quality veteran that wants to buy your home. Now you want him to come up with a 3% commission to pay his buyer's agent. They won't do it. So now the seller misses out and the buyer isn't able to buy. FHA buyers, same way. They don't have the money to pay a buyer's commission. So what about a 5% down conventional? They don't have the money. 10%, they don't have the money. Not until you got buyers that are almost paying cash or putting down 30-40%. Those are the ones that may not have a problem with it. But why do we need to even go there? We had the best MLS in the world. Other countries have tried to copy us and couldn't do it. Now we got all this money grab for these attorneys that created this lawsuit that just made everything worse. It was working fine. And if the seller didn't want to pay a 6% commission, they could have negotiated it then. It's doable to negotiate, but the realtor said, I'll list your home for 6%. The buyer said, I'll give you 4. The listing agent said, well, then how about we split it in the middle at 5? Okay, we'll do 5. That's how it works. But if you're getting it in your sales price, you want people to buy. You don't want to chase away all your buyers. That would be stupid. That'd be like selling a car and you don't want to pay any of your salespeople to sell it. So now you have all these cars on your lot, nobody to sell them. Well, that doesn't work either. I just think that these lawyers screw this stuff up, and it was a money grab, some big lawsuit. Somebody got their panties in a wad and created a big issue. That's what it was all about. And it doesn't have to be. So now, if you're a buyer, you're going to have to sign an agreement with the buyer's agent, your agent that you hire, because you want somebody to represent you. You don't want to go right to the listing agent. They're representing the seller. You don't want to negotiate with them. They got a fiduciary responsibility, a legal responsibility to get the most they can for the house. You want to go right to that person? That's the fox watching the chicken coop. That's ridiculous. So we don't want to go right to the listing agent, but now we got to pay the buyer's agent. So here's what you do. You negotiate that I'll pay you a buyer's agent your commission, but I will not sign a contract unless the seller pays that commission to you. That's how you're going to have to do it. So all it did is make things easy, more complicated. That's all. But you're not going to buy a house and pay the commission. I know you're not as a buyer. Why would you want to do that? You don't have to do that. And you're just going to find that these sellers are going to go, well, God, I thought it was going to be a good idea. Now it's just extra complicated for me. Well, let's make it simple. Here's what I want you to do. I'm the loan arranger. I've been in this business 35 years. I know all the good agents. I know the good listing agents, the good buyer's agents, all the way from Jacksonville all the way down to Key West. You can call me. I'll connect you with an agent. We're going to make this thing so that it's right for you, the buyer and the seller. That's what you can count on. And I'll refer you to one of them. They don't pay me one dime for that referral. What they do is they give you, my customer, the discounts. Call me from Tampa, from the bone right now. 813-213-4009. 813-213-4009. Or Orlando area all the way up to St. Augustine at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. And so listen, I don't want anybody to freak out about this. It's not getting me worked up, but it's getting a lot of agents worked up. Now, here's the thing. If you are an agent that's part-time, you're going to have a tougher day. I'm just going to tell you. If you're an agent that's full-time and you take this business seriously and you work hard for your clients, you're going to be just fine. You're not going to lose money. Your pay's not going to go down because you're worth the pay. You're worth it for you to negotiate a good deal. You're worth it for me to look out for the transaction. For sale by owners are nothing but a disaster. They truly are. When a buyer and seller come to the table to work out a deal, nobody's representing anybody, and it's just a cluster. So you don't want that either. We need people to help us. We need professionals. You want a professional financial. You want a professional doctor. You want a professional dentist. You want a professional lender. You want a professional realtor. You've got to have people that can help you. Otherwise, you're trying to navigate this on your own. You're not a professional at it. It doesn't make any sense. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I want you to pick up the phone and save me in your phone right now. Save me 813-213-4009 or 407-706-3313. Save my website, WeBringYouHome.com. WeBringYouHome.com. Don't go to CrossCountry.com. Go to WeBringYouHome.com, and the Loan Arranger will take care of all of your needs. I'll be back in 5 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about this major issue, debt consolidation, and what you need to do to make sure you're always getting the best deal when you're getting a mortgage on your next house. I'll be back in 5 minutes.